All right, hello and welcome everyone. This is Darius Barzande, and I'm super excited to be with you at UAL's Revolution today. And we have an incredible guest. One of the people that I really love. This guy is always on the cutting edge. And Peter Schenk is here. He is what many people call this incredible mystic, but he's also a practical mystic that creates incredible shifts on the planet. I mean, he is dedicated to actually figuring out the secrets of the universe, and at the same time actually plugging in to the mechanics and the transformational tools that can create rapid shifts. And this is exciting to me because as we plug in to where UAL's Revolution is going, my big goal, and I haven't officially broadcasted this yet in a large scale, but my big goal as I've been sort of seeding is we want to reach 300 by 30. And what that means is 300 million people by 2030. And a lot of people say, Darius, that's going to be harder. How are you going to do that? And I say, no, it's actually going to be easier than ever before. And I'll tell you why. Because we are actually awakening. We are actually changing. We are actually coming online. And people like Peter Schenk and others are developing technologies that are literally flipping switches on in our body, in our chemistry, in our energy fields, in our spiritual and physical selves, so that this process begins to steamroll, snowball, and catapult us into the life we want to live. All we have to do is be into that field of energy and something turns on. And we're going to be talking about that today, but we're also got something really cool. Press star 2 if you need some help or questions. We're also going to be taking people into a 0-point process, helping them to alleviate certain pains in their body using certain geometric techniques. We're also going to be doing a water blessing, so if you have a bit of time or you can run down to the sink or downstairs, grab some water. We're going to be doing that to actually charge and imprint water for your highest blessing and good. And I would also ask, if you're listening and we make this not just about us, but also about the planet, can you take some of that water after we imprint it today, and can you go and can you take that into another body of water, a lake, a stream, a river, and purify that with this beautiful sample water that we're going to be purifying today. And the word I want to use is impregnating with this beautiful imprint of energy. I also want to do this. We're going to be talking about how you can plug in to the energies of 0 point, no matter what's going on around you. You can be free. We're going to share free processes to do that and new technologies that are opening up for people all over the world. And we're going to show you how you can actually create a big shift in your life and catapult your family, your home, everything around you into a higher state of being using some very powerful tools and methods. We're going to be doing it all. Peter Schenk is a spiritual visionary who left a successful career as a computer programmer to become one of the world's largest banks to fulfill his big mission to heal the world. Based on his research at the forefront of quantum physics, Peter's developed interesting and amazing ways to use technology to bridge the gap between science and consciousness. And Modern Day Mystic was created as his big visionary thrust in the world. He's created software, tools, and frequency patterns through many of the different programs that he creates and physical objects as a way to achieving optimal health, happiness, and even financial freedom. You're going to hear stories about how certain frequencies can shift things in our body and open us up to more. And I'm here as a student to learn too, because it's astounding to me. In addition to perfecting quantum-based energy platforms, Modern Day Mystic Peter Schenk provides outreach through podcasts, lectures, and groups, and for nearly 20 years, he's been on a mission to marry the physical and metaphysical through the mystical power of numbers. And I alluded, we're going to also be talking about geometry in the body for people that have pains and much more. Peter continues to develop incredible technologies into different tools to help us plug in to mystical energy and quantum principles to make it real and valid in our world today for rapid change. I hold the intention today that some of the things we discuss, some of the things that are going to be unlocked, the secrets, can actually be used when we build schools, hospitals, roads, homes, and new civilizations for tomorrow. And my heart feels truly that Peter is going to be involved in that cutting-edge work. Peter's also had life-changing results, and Peter is dedicated feverishly to spreading the use far and wide of smart technology devices and new possibilities using sacred geometry and incredible tools that will allow humanity to live in peace, prosperity, and abundance. I want to share one thing that a couple of people have been saying. One person said, I've been using one of Peter's devices for the last 3 weeks now. My moods have been more stable, no wild up and down swings. Trips to the city, which is a 2-hour drive each way, have been easier with no trouble with parking. I'm a calmer person. Thank you, Peter Schenk. I'm so glad I've got your tools, and I have been wearing this tool. I haven't even taken it off. I find it interesting that some days I have to clean it. Every couple of days, some days I don't have to clean it at all. Another person wrote in, one person said, negative people make me notice the reaction of this Mini. It feels like it's sort of buffered from a lot of the negative energy around me now. So interesting. We got another person write in who said, my life is better because now, thanks to a special device, I can be in crowds. I can take a busy subway and not be affected by people around me. I have more energy and more mental clarity to get things done. Lots of synchronicities have occurred in my life, and you just flow in a positive attitude because the negativity just vanishes into thin air, poof. And here's the thing I would say, this is my comment, this was Suki Crew who said this, I believe this is part of the 0-point energy. So we're going to open up a little bit of a 0-point discussion, and I believe a 0-point field today. Let's drop in some of the fears, the negative energies, and the things that we want to release. Will you let me know where we can help you today? Press star 2 to raise your hand. Also submit your questions to our guest, Peter Schenk, the Modern Day Mystic. Peter, welcome back, my friend, to the U-Wealth Revolution.
There he is. Thank you. It was quite a intro there. Thank you for that.
Hey, I'm excited. I mean, you do big things, and I'm excited about new possibilities for the planet. I mean, this is how it's all going to happen when we really begin to create tools that let people live in this pattern of frequency that we know exists.
Absolutely. So to kind of kick this off, I'd like to do a general water blessing. Water is really the catalyst by which I do most of my blessings with. So if everyone could just put a glass of water in front of them, please.
Okay.
I'd like you to take your left hand and raise it over the glass about 3 inches and just spread your fingers. If you have a bottle of water, that's fine too. And in a minute, you're going to feel that energy running down through your hand into the water. This is universal energy. I like to call it source. Some people call it the energy of God, whatever. Just allow it to flow. Now, energy that is in non-physical form or in physical form will do absolutely anything for you as long as you acknowledge its existence. Water, being the most programmable material on the planet, really reacts positive to this. So like everyone to just put their attention on the water, doesn't require any work, just put your attention on the water and repeat 8 magical words out loud. I honor the space in which you exist. And in a second, you'll feel that energy flow increase through your hand.
Okay, I'm going to do it right now, too, and everyone repeat after me. I honor the space in which you exist. Oh, dude, I feel that. That's cool.
Okay, I'll just give it another couple seconds, and I'd like everyone to go ahead and drink as much as you want, and notice the taste and the texture of the water is completely different. But more importantly, notice where it's moving in your body energetically. That's super smooth.
Yeah, mine's kind of slippery. Like it feels kind of slippery, but I'm also more aware of where it's going in and going into my field. This was wild because right when you said that, tell me the words again, because I want people to remember this. And I'll be breaking this out because I think this is something you'll want to use for the rest of your life. What are the words, Peter? I honor the space?
I honor the space in which you exist. Basically what you're doing is just a mantra I came up with a few years back. And, you know, through a lot of the realities and the consciousness grid that I traversed, I've acquired a lot of life-changing information. And this is just a very quick, on-the-fly way to bring about really any change you want. When you have that ability to unlimit your thinking, you can unlimit your potential. And this is just a very quick blessing that I typically like to do, and it's generally geared around goodwill and good flow for the show and the people listening.
Wow. Tell me, and I want to hear from everybody too, what you all are feeling. Did you do the blessing? What happened? What did you feel in your fingers or around your body? And if anyone's having challenges listening to the webcast, just hit refresh. We had a few people really wanting to be on the call, writing me, so just do that. Peter, you talked a little bit about transversing some of the dimensions. Tell me a little bit about your story. What happened that opened you up to this path that you're on right now?
So back in the summer of 2004, I was about halfway through my tenure at one of the world's largest investment banks, and I had a 20-year career there working in technology. Now, prior to this day in August, my life was very on the edge. I had no discernment for humility. I didn't really know what love was. It was really just about me, and I, and I was really a scumbag, keeping up with the Joneses, just cutting corners where I could. And then, but my entire life has been based in technology, and my father started a computer corporation back in the 60s, so I've been kind of bred into that breed. And I was working one day in the afternoon, a little after 2:30, and if you can imagine, Darius, seeing your whole life in black and white through your eyes, at the speed of thought, I was seeing everything in color. And instantly, not only did my vision change, but my perception of reality radically changed. I was able to see energy in everything. I was able to play with these energies. And, for about 3 weeks, I literally had thought that I had gone insane. But the cool thing was I was good being this new me. I was good in this new world. And I did not want to go back to being asleep like I was. And over time, I started to understand how these energy mechanics worked. And, I for about 6 months, I really thought I was the right-hand avenging angel of God here to smite all evil in the world. And, I was doing energy sessions with people. So then sometime late in 2004, early 2005, I wanted to create something that would change humanity in a beautiful way. And, then the story of the software started, and, all the product line has been developed since then. But the comment I made about these realities were I have spent the better part of the last decade really on the edge of the consciousness grid at 200 miles an hour with my hair on fire.
Wow.
Diving down that rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole is just a name that I use. It goes by many names. Some people call it the Akashic Records. Some people call it the Great Quantum Database. But it's a place where brilliance is born. It's a place where these higher level ideas, these higher levels of thinking come from. And once you have figured it out, it's been in front of you the whole time. You just weren't able to see it. And these let's call them switches get flipped when the timing is right for that information to be passed to you. What you do with that information really determines if you move to the next octave. Okay, so let me explain that comment.
Okay. Yes.
We talk about frequencies. We talk about higher octaves. We talk about levels of consciousness, and for the most part, it's just buzzwords. People really don't know what it means. But I discovered very early on that these higher levels of consciousness require work to get there, and it's not enough just to be a good person in life. It requires work, but that work is fun. So let's say, okay, Pete, how do I start my, my climb up the stairs, my ascension? It's really, really simple. You start with an act of kindness, okay?
Yes.
Whatever that act of kindness is. And then what happens, Darius, is you're given a little bit of information, okay? And if you act on that information, you're spreading more love and vibration into the world, then you're given a bigger piece of information. Okay, and this is how the catalyst starts for an evolution of your consciousness. You have to act on the information you're given. Okay, there's a lot of really good people out in the world that talk a great game, but they don't really do anything or create anything. Okay, I did not want to be one of them. I wanted to create true change in the world, and whether I helped one person or 1 million people was irrelevant. Okay, since we're all one and the same, every time I create, act, or do, I'm spreading a higher vibration in the world, and that's where it's at. That's the core.
What was the most surprising thing when you started transversing these different dimensions or uncovering some of these truths that you discovered? What surprised you the most? Or maybe I should say surprised or transformed you the most that we can pass on to everybody here and move them forward?
How simple the answers actually are.
I love that. I love it.
I mean, at its core, you know, as humans, we overcomplicate everything. Okay? It doesn't matter. We are conditioned from birth, okay, to think and act a certain way. And based on that conditioning, we have lost touch with our roots. We have lost touch with magic. Okay? An infant sees the world as magic up until maybe 10 or 11 months, and then the conditioning starts. Okay? The moment my wake-up experience happened, I knew to exist in these higher realms but yet stay grounded, I had to unlimit my thinking. Okay? Well, how do you unlimit your thinking? If you draw a box in front of you, that's your consciousness. That's your comfort zone. Okay? Nothing outside of your conditioning happens there, but right outside that box is where the magic happens. And the hardest step to get there is not the first step. It's the actual conceptual thought of thinking, I want to change my life. You unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your potential, and you can create magic in the world. And it's so easy. And I taught a course a few months back called the Master Classes, and they were 4 courses about bringing people through the 0 point, okay? And one of the major teachings in that class was, in order for the real learning to begin, you have to unlearn everything you have ever learned, okay? But here's the magic, right? We all learn things in textbooks. We learn things through our environment as we move through them. But the real learning in the magic is done in the experience. So I say to you, Darius, have you ever had an experience in your life that you've learned something from, but 2, it cannot be explained? It's only in the experience it does the real learning to begin. And once you're ready, that experience will be delivered to you, and in that experience, you'll really get how easy it really is.
I love this. Very, very profound, and absolutely makes complete sense. I'm going to check in with the audience and see what questions and where we are at. One person, a lot of people enjoying the water. Wow, I've got a lot of comments here. Let me share. Annette said, I felt the water instantly absorbed by my organs. No water in my stomach. And another person, water tasted softer. I felt the energy moved more like a cloud around my hands. I yawned. Another person, when I had my left hand over my glass of water, I felt heat in the palm of my hand. Water tasted smooth. Colette said, delicious soft water. My body cells hydrated. Please ask Peter, how does this process affect like waterborne stuff or parasites? Anyway, some interesting comments. And for Colette, what is happening to the water? What happens to some of those things that may be there that are not of the highest frequency?
That's a great question, and there's a really simple answer. And it really goes back to levels of vibration, right? Okay. Higher octaves, frequencies. As humans, when we come into contact with a person, place, or a thing or an object that vibrates at a higher level, your light body instantly matches that level of vibration, but the physical body generally takes about 72 hours to vibrate at that level, okay? And in the human body, there's things that, like heavy metal toxins, pesticides, and other things that vibrate at a very low level, and they typically will start to come out of the body on the lower end of the detoxing spectrum. Now, with water, as we raise the vibration of the water, lower forms of vibration cannot exist within the water. So, you know, if you just kind of take that formula and think about it, I think you really have the answer to your question.
Yes, yes. Wow. Tell me about the 0 point, because as you talk about traversing some of these different dimensions and what opened you up, how did the 0 point field or some of that energy, how did that play in to this awakening and where we are now?
Well, you know, the 0 point is really a term that people like to throw around, kind of like the word quantum and, you know, half dozen before it, and they really don't have a fundamental understanding of what it is. So I'm going to start with quantum, and this will lead into 0 point. So I am a student of engineering. I received my Bachelor's of Science in Computer Engineering from Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston. So I studied with the best of them. And my whole background has been in complex algorithms, geometry, and formulas, and I really understand the way this stuff works. So, you know, long ago when we were developing the software, you know, anyone could make a beautiful interface. Anyone could, you know, put frequencies in the water, but I wanted to do it from anywhere at any time, just by putting your attention on it. And, you know, it hit me that the quantum realm was the place to do it. So when you look at the books that are out there on quantum, you have string theory, quark theories, and everything in between. It just doesn't make sense because the universe is simplicity. Brilliance is born in simplicity. So when you boil all of that formulas and everything down, if you can truly believe that everything is energy in one form or another, you would know that that energy is all interconnected. And that plane of existence is what science coins the quantum realm. Okay? It's a place that has no past and has no future. There's only the now. And your consciousness exists in this place. Okay? So all the past and all of the future is revolving around us all the time, just outside of our five human senses. And that consciousness, okay, that exists in the middle of that quantum field is really the 0 point. Okay? And I'm just giving you my opinion and my expertise in it, and other people might have other valid things that around the 0 point. But the 0 point is also a two-way door, very much like chakras. Okay? Chakras are energy portals within the body that move energy in and move energy out. Okay? But the 0 point is something special. Now, years ago, I was playing around with aquaregia. And aquaregia is a mixture of acids that allow you to dissolve platinum group metals. And I was being highly impulsed to do this. And what I would do is I would start with, let's say, 10 grams of gold, and I would dissolve them in this aquaregia. And I would use very specific geometric symbols underneath these beakers, okay? Now, they talk about there's an infinite amount of universes out there, right? And there's only one thing that's the same in all of these universes, and that's the weight of matter. Okay? Now, energy can come in the form of physical matter or energetic matter. And the 0 point transverses all of these universes simultaneously. So, for instance, when I was doing these gold experiments, I wanted to give salt through the 0 point and extract gold back, but it had to be the same weight in matter. So using these geometric shapes and going through this complicated, very dangerous process, by the way. I turned all the copper pipes green in my lab from the acid. I was successful to some points of receiving back 11 or 12 grams of gold once it was reconstituted.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that is an example of the 0 point. 0 point is the thought. It's your consciousness that exists everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And you can give through the 0 point and receive through the 0 point at the speed of thought.
Wow. So as we're talking about the 0 point, we're plugging in. Let's talk about how, interesting. A lot of interesting comments coming in. I want to share. Very, very cool. Okay, as we're talking about the 0 point, how can these discoveries help us elevate our consciousness and transform our life? Because there's a lot of interesting stories that your office send over to us. People feeling protected, feeling energy shift around them, people having, more possibilities come forward. Somebody said, I stopped bleeding because of this. It looks like they had an accident. These things, what is going on with the discovery and impacting the energy in people's lives?
So, for the last 10 years, I have been developing software products, and I have learned a great deal about how energy works and how to make products that just, the stuff that science fiction books are written about.
Yeah.
And in 2015, I was being impulsed. I was given a bit of information. I wanted to create a physical device. Now, I've never created anything physical, okay? So we're in the September-October time frame of 2015, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I can create a physical device. So there were some criteria, and I had no idea what I was going to create. Just this idea came out of nowhere. But I had a set of criteria that I applied towards software that I wanted to apply towards a physical device, and they're really simple. One, it had to be drop-dead gorgeous. Two, it had to be absolutely effective in what it was going to do. Three, it could have no moving parts and use no electricity. Four, it had to be just simple, okay? Just simple in its design, but yet incredibly effective in what it did, okay? So I was given another piece of information, and that was two metals, okay? So first I was thinking, okay, I can make this out of noble metals like platinum or gold. I'm like, no one's going to spend $20,000 on a piece of technology. That's crazy. And then it hit me, copper and silver. So those were the two metals I was going to use. Why? Because copper has a long history of attracting certain things. Why do you think we run water through copper pipes? Because it kills bacteria. Yes. Silver is used in electronic parts to stabilize fields. So copper and silver were what this device were going to be made of, okay? So now it's starting to take form, okay? And I'm like, wow, what about if I could revolutionize an industry by building something? And I started thinking in terms of, okay, what is something that is magical when we're young, but then we get stressed over and we hate later in life? Driving, okay? There's a 700 or 800 million cars on the road just in the United States alone. And when I worked at the bank, I used to go down some of the most dangerous highways in the country. And I was a product of road rage. I instigated road rage. And I hated sitting in traffic. So to me, driving wasn't magical anymore. It just sucked. And then I was given another piece of information. Create something that will make your driving experience absolutely amazing. So I was like, okay, I can do this. And then the design hit me, okay? And and I'll get into this. The first product that we released is called the Harmonic Field Amplifier, A New Way to Travel. And it's made from the purest copper and silver commercially available. And I'm going to tie all this into the 0 point in a second. So the copper attracts all the negativity, and the silver creates and stabilizes the field. Okay? Now when you look at the HFA, the first thing you're going to notice is...
Now, what does HFA stand for? Because people may not know. I'm going to ask you that, and then also want to know where you think this information came from, but we'll get to that. So HFA stands for what?
Harmonic Field Amplifier.
Okay, Harmonic Field Amplifier. I'm kind of feeling into what that means. Okay.
And so harmonic means everything's at peace. It's all in balance. The field is what the device creates, and the amplification takes the negativity. Okay, and I'll get into that in a minute. And I wanted to, so the device, the core design came into being. Now the first roadblocks I ran into were, okay, I don't know anything about manufacturing. I know nothing.
Of course.
And how can I have a device manufactured? So the first thing I did was I hit Google, and I started typing in, have product manufactured, and there was a bunch of companies that came up, and I started, filling out information, and within 2 or 3 days, I started getting phone calls, and lo and behold, it was all the lawyers calling me. Oh, you have to have this technology patent, whatever your device is, blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
I'm like, okay, well, what are the costs? They're like, $25,000. I'm like,
oh,
what? Okay, and then I'm like, all right, so I can get a patent in here, but I'm going to probably need one in Europe, in the European Union. They're like, oh, no. Every patent, there's a different patent for every country. And I'm like, oh, God, what about China? Well, you could probably get a patent in China, but no one's going to listen to it anyway. So
right.
That was very, very discouraging, but I was given a piece of information, okay? And this is the beauty of how this story unfolded. So I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I can manufacture something myself. Well, how can I do that? So I started researching 3D printing, okay? And, I got these free 3D CAD programs where I actually designed this device in there. But then I was kind of upset because at the time you couldn't 3D print in copper and silver in the design that I wanted. So I was like, look, there's something going on here. There's a learning curve. Okay? And long story short, I did find a manufacturer here in the United States, and is a young guy, really cool, very open to what I wanted to create, and he had the ability to think outside the box. And that file that I created in the CAD program, I actually took a recording of it, a screen capture, and I sent it to them. It was like, 4-minute video, and from that they were actually able to get the design specifications for the HFA, what I wanted to create. So the universe was leading me down a learning curve, but every piece of that learning curve was absolutely, imperative to the final product. Now here's the cool thing. From the idea in my head to a product in the store, was 9 months almost to the day. That's a birthing cycle. It's a human birthing cycle.
Yes.
How crazy is that?
Wow. And, okay, as this was born, as this came into being, tell me what it does. How does it work? What is it actually doing? And we're talking about this harmonic field amplifier called a HFA. Before we get to that, though, Peter, where do you think this knowledge came from to combine all of these elements together? This has a very particular shape. It has a particular texture. It has particular patterning on it, sacred geometries, a shape, a weight, even dimensions. Tell me where you think all of that came in from.
So the design specifications for the HFA are actually a decade of building software. Okay? In the software, I use very specific formulas and algorithms and dimensions to create those fields, those frequencies. And the HFA is just an extension of that into the physical. Okay? And now that it's here, there's a lot of crazy stories, but the HFA in its core, it's called a new way to travel. And basically, it's a device that is built to last for generations, by the way. It's not something that's going to break. It's not ever going to stop working. It has no moving parts and uses no electricity. It uses 0-point energy, okay? And what it does is the copper attracts all of the negativity, all of the energy that's in you, in your vehicle, in the immediate surroundings, and washes it and pulls it in. You'll notice a beautiful spiral that goes clockwise right through a hole right in the center of the device to a counterclockwise spiral, okay? And that hole in the middle is the 0 point. Remember I talked about how we give something to receive something? So the silver is creating and stabilizing that field, okay? And once it's activated by those 8 magical words in your attention on your vehicle, it starts immediately. It takes all of the negativity that's in you, in your vehicle, and the immediately surrounding areas and washes it through the 0 point, and at the speed of thought returns it as harmonized energy. How cool is that?
Interesting. Now, you've compared this to sites and sacred sites or spiritual vortexes like Sedona, Arizona, and the Great Pyramids of Giza. Your intention is to actually create something like that where we recreate those vortices and we can actually bring that into our home, bring that on our body, bring that into our car. Tell me, I mean, how is it working? Like, let's say Sedona or a Pyramid of Giza, for example. Like, what are those areas of the planet able to do? What is this able to do?
So there is. If you look at the top of the HFA, you're going to notice a beautiful graphic, and that's called the Goshen golden ratio. Okay, that is a formula that's found in everything in nature. Okay, 1, 3, 7, everything that has energy creates a spiral, okay? So the 9 vortexes that are in and around Sedona, the Great Pyramids, and countless other places around the world have these spirals that attract energy and do certain things with it, okay? The pyramids, depending on what you read and what you believe, they're power generators or this, that, and the other thing. They're everything but tombs for the Egyptian pharaohs. I have spent, time in Sedona, have bathed in those vortexes, and they're very beautiful and very powerful. And the HFA, a new way to travel, is a way to bring those ancient technologies right into your car. Okay, or any mode of transportation. You can use it in your car. You can take it on a bus. You can put it on your bicycle. And the effects are immediate. Okay, there is no wait time. They're immediate. So, from the car's perspective, what happens? Okay, and there's a lot of video testimonials to the effects of these devices, and there's a lot of written testimonials to the effects of these devices, and people are experiencing amazing things. Now, I'll use my parents, for example. Okay, my dad is 83, and my mom is in her late 70s.
Congratulations, yeah.
Thank you. And they live here in Connecticut, but they also have a home in Philly. So they travel to Philadelphia a couple times a year, and they drive on the Jersey Turnpike, which is one of the worst roads in the United States.
Yeah.
And, what my mom and my dad are consistently saying, I don't know how this thing works, but there is never any traffic for a half a mile in front of me and a half a mile behind me. And people, they just let me cut over, no problem. So what the HFA is doing is it is creating this allure of perfection, okay? Any of that negativity is gone. So people have experienced when they're driving, they're calmer, okay? The little dinks and road noises are gone, Okay, now when I received, this is God's honest truth, I received 2 prototypes in the summer, in June of 2016. Okay, and I my son was 14 at the time, and we were driving 12 hours down to South Carolina. Now, I rented an SUV, and when I filled it up, the computer said 340 miles to a full tank of gas. Okay, so we all know a 14-year-old can't sit still. I activated the HFA, and he was the calmest for those 12 hours I had ever seen him. And then after a couple of weeks of driving down there, I drove it back, I filled it up, and I noticed the trip computer said 520 miles to a full tank. So, you do the math. I had a 30 or 40% increase in gas mileage. Now, that varies from people, and again, it's all in testimonials and video testimonials.
Interesting.
I have experienced bizarre and beautiful things happening with it. I had a truck from January 2016 to January of 2017. Okay, this was a 6,500 pound vehicle. Okay, it had tires that were supposed to wear very, very fast. When I brought it in, traded it in, they looked at the tires, and the tires looked brand new. So the effectiveness of raising that vibration and getting rid of the negativity has absolute positive effects on physical things in the world. Okay, some people have stated that their car stereo sounds better. We had one guy that drove 600 miles to Miami in a Lexus that had 125,000 miles on it, and his AC never worked worth a shit. Oops, or the stoop. And all of a sudden, it's working the best that it's ever worked. Okay, these are all typical, but they're all different. But there's one commonality amongst all the people that have these devices is just an absolute sense of beauty when they're driving, and that feeling that the infant has, that the world is magical, comes back to you again. It's thinking outside the box. It's absolutely mind-blowing what people are experiencing with these devices.
Now, we're going to be taking people into a process here in a little while, a 0-point process, so they'll be experiencing some interesting things too, but it's not just in their cars. People are wearing this too. There's a device that you can wear. Now, what's going on when people wear this? And here's what I'm excited about. I want to share this. This is very interesting because we can't always control the environment around us, and many times we feel like it's on us to hold our energy high, hold our frequency high, not allow people's negative energies to affect us when we go into a room or into a place. Maybe we work at a company, a lot of negative people. Maybe we work in a hospital where there's certain things there that we don't always agree with, or certain medicines that have to be administered, and maybe we believe more in natural therapies, or maybe there's people very negative around us. There's something going on here that you've plugged into, it sounds like, that lets us have sort of our own energetic space, as you said, almost like a safe zone around us, a field amplification that is like the vortexes of some of these sacred spaces. And I'm curious about when people wear this, what's going on.
Okay, so let's be clear. They're not actually, there's 3 different products we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And the HFA New Way to Travel is the one for your car. So remember, I talked about these higher octaves. When you bring something into fruition, when you spread that love and vibration, you're given another bit of information. Okay, so now the HFA is in the store, and it's selling, and people are having amazing experiences. Mission accomplished. Yeah, no. I was given another bit of information, okay, and that was to create a much larger device for the home and the office. That's where the HFA Plus came into being. It is a much larger device that has much more silver on it. So the silver inlay doesn't just go around the edges. It actually comes up over the edges on the top and the bottom and goes right to the center and circles around that spiral. It's really a beautiful piece of art. And that creates a much larger field for your home and office. And again, it creates this aurora of just absolute simplicity. So there are users of these larger devices, the Plus devices, that are clutter bugs, that for years they have just not wanted to get rid of their clutter. The HFA comes in, and boom, 2 weeks later, all the color goes. Now, again, I received the prototype for the HFA Plus, and I have had a lot of beautiful devices from people. Some I've bought, some have been gifted that, come and go in my home, and they are constantly protecting me from negativity long before it gets to me, okay? And what I noticed was when I activated the HFA Plus, instantly it started cleaning the things in my home that keep the negative energy from getting to me. It was mind-blowing. Now remember, I have that gift of sight. I can see the mechanics behind the reality of how things are working. And it was incredible because it started cleaning all of the devices. And people that have purchased a larger one and put them in home and office have been experiencing, miraculous things happening. Oh. And then, mission accomplished. Yeah, no, not quite. Then we moved on. I was given a new design, something radically different, so people could take the technology with them, and that's when the HFA Mini was born. It is a thumb-activated personal quantum shield. Okay, again, it's made from the purest copper and silver, commercially available, and you take your left thumb and you place it over the grid on the back, and you activate it, and once it's activated, the effects are instant. Okay, there's no wait time. Everything is instant when we talk in terms of zero-point technology. But I want to make one point about the HFA Mini. Unlike the HFA, A New Way to Travel, and the HFA Plus, they have coatings on them, so they will not tarnish. Okay? The HFA Mini, because of the way it interacts with the body's energetic field, I could not put a coating on it. So what you're going to experience if you decide to purchase one of these things is it will tarnish depending on how much negativity you're being bombarded with. Okay?
Oh, that's what that lady was saying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the tarnishing does not affect how the Mini works, but it does change the appearance of it. And I want to be clear, there is no coating on it. And it was actually a stroke of brilliance. One, because if I did have a coating on it, it would have dumbed down the effects big time with the field. But two, it's also an indicator of how much negativity you're actually around. And three, and here's where the brilliance comes in, you actually have to clean it. And the very act of cleaning something is showing love. And that's ultimately what it's all about.
We're going to be doing a zero-point process to also bring in some of these geometrical principles and processes for your body, so hold tight. But I want to share this was Patricia that said this about the HFA Mini, or the one that you're wearing. She said this, and I didn't understand this. She said, on Sunday, my significant other, who's very sensitive, was going through a lot of stuff, a lot of releasing, etc. I just kept doing my thing and let him be. Well, Monday morning, I checked my Mini, and it was very tarnished. I was shocked to see how badly tarnished it was and was in dire need of cleaning. Every day seems to run more smoothly wearing the Mini. She's become my best friend. There was another lady. I polished and cleaned my Mini this morning. I got where I needed to go home without too much trouble. When I got ready for bed, I looked at my HFA, and I was shocked. I can wear it around my house. Now, this is the key, and it doesn't need to be cleaned for 4 or 5 days. Well, after yesterday, just one day, I looked at it. It was so dirty. It was definitely working, keeping that stress away from me. So this thing, the Mini one, the one they wear around their neck, this actually will change colors based on the negative energy around people, and it's actually pulling it in then.
Well, it's not pulling it in. It's filtering it. Okay? So the design of the Mini, it almost looks like a teardrop, and it's kind of bowed because it has a beautiful groove on the back to activate it with your left thumb. And and right on the face of it, it has the source symbol, the symbol for infinity, symbolizing that you are an unlimited being. And again, that silver inlay goes all the way around the edges, and the copper attracts the negativity. The silver creates and stabilizes that field and allows that energy to flow in, and immediately at the speed of thought is returned as harmonized energy. So when people are wearing it, now, I have customers on every continent on the planet, and they're all from very diverse backgrounds. But with these devices, it's always a constant. And the Mini one has really been a mover. And people that are wearing them always describe the same thing. They feel they are wrapped in the womb of serenity, in different words, obviously. And, they feel protected. People, I have customers that are afraid to go into crowds because they just can't be around people. And they wear the Mini, and they just move like a hot knife through butter, no problem.
Interesting.
Okay, and that is a testimonial to, the power that these products put out. And, like everything I create the toolbox, the core set, and I give you a simple instruction set. And it's really, as masters of all you survey, to get out there and put it to the test in different ways that I'd never even dreamed of, And like the software before it, people are taking this technology and using it in ways that's just mind-blowing.
Wow. I want to read something here interesting. You say the HFA Mini protects your etheric body from aura disruptors and provides you with a healthy, protective space within which to heal yourself from any existing aura tears. Very profound. We're going to get back into this discussion and talk more about it. Peter, I want to do a process for everybody that you had talked about when we were talking privately, and I said, what else can we do that's something really bringing some of these amazing discoveries, because this is very, very cutting edge on discoveries. You said there's a geometrical or geometry type of process that can help our bodies that you wanted to share. Tell me about that, and maybe let's do it if we can.
Sure. So, last year I started as part of my YouTube channel, I started these little videos every day called the MDM Minute, and they encompass knowledge and techniques and just little tips and tricks with products and software, and it started to become pretty popular. So I kind of shake it up every now and then by doing a mini series, and in a video that I did up in New Hampshire, I had this Freudian slip. I said, I'm going to teach you guys body geometry.
Oh,
and
yes.
I paused, and then I paused for a second. I'm like, what the heck? What is that?
Right.
So, again, I was given a bit of information in the middle of a video, and what I would do with that information would determine if I was able to obtain more knowledge in it. And a couple of weeks went by, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I started a mini-series called Body Geometry, and it's all done with the hands. I've got about 6 or 8 of them out there, and they're very simple techniques. You hold your hands in certain ways, and just the very motion of putting your hands in this sequence creates an energetic spiral right in front of you. Okay? And most of the scriptures and everything in between teach you to breathe through your nose and out through your mouth. Well, everything I do goes against the grain. That's what makes it very effective. So when you're in this body stance, and I can very quickly explain it, they're all done when you're sitting down. When you're breathing in through your mouth, you're breathing in that source energy, that universal love, that universal energy, and you're bringing it in. And the geometry that you create with your hands is an activation for whatever we want to accomplish. And then when you're breathing out through your nose, you're pushing the negativity or whatever needs to go, and you're transmuting it back to the light. Okay? So today, and when we talked a little while ago, we figured I'd do one, and the one we're going to do today is with pain. Any type of pain in the body can be diminished within 45 to 90 seconds, really, really fast.
Wow.
So typically what we do is you just sit down, and there's no water involved, and you put your elbows on the table, and what you would do is you would put your hands close together, and you would touch your two middle fingers, and then you would just bend them around a little bit. And remember, folks, there's really no right way and there's no wrong way to do this. There's only the perfect way for you, okay? And then you kind of spread your other fingers out. So you touch your two middle fingers together, and then you kind of fold them down so the backs of them are touching, and your other fingers are just spread out. And what you want to do is just get quiet for a second, close your eyes, and you can do this really anywhere. And just the very motion of putting your fingers in these geometric patterns creates this spiral vortex. So what I'd like everyone to do is just kind of get quiet and close your eyes and breathe through your mouth and out through your nose a few times, and notice what pops up in front of you. You're going to feel it. It's an energetic spiral of universal energy that just comes in, and as you're breathing in, you start breathing in that high vibrational energy. Now, if you have pain in your body anywhere, okay, you can get rid of it literally in less than a minute, okay? It generally probably takes between 6 and 9 in-breaths and out-breaths to completely diminish the pain. So as you're breathing through your mouth, you want to imagine you're pulling in that vortex energy, and it goes right to the root of the issue. And when you're breathing out through your nose, it's just taking that negativity, in this case, which is the pain, and transmuting it back to love, back to the light. So everyone, just go ahead and breathe through your mouth and out through your nose.
It feels so different. It's like a whole different shift on how
Pretty cool,
we normally are told to do this.
But Darius, this is a perfect example of how, you remember I said how easy it is in the beginning of this show? That's how simple it is. We overcomplicate everything. You don't have to cross your feet. You don't need to sing Kumbaya, hold hands, candles, crystals, none of it. It's simplicity in the simplicity and in the silence is where the true power is, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, this is starting to be one of the big themes, I think, of the Unlimited Awakening season, is that it is simple, it is fast, it can be very easy. We've complicated it, and I appreciate you sharing that, because that's a big message. One person said, my hand got cold, then got hot, the energies just flowed. Very, very cool. Share with us if you've been doing the process, or if you've had pains in your body, or discomforts, I should say. What is going on now as we do this exercise with Peter? We're breathing in through our mouth, out through our nose, and bringing in some of these sacred divine vortices of energy, and then allowing it to be directed to where it needs to go. Let us know what is going on. And Peter, as they're doing that, what is really happening? Can you kind of share energetically what you're tuning into for people?
So, there's what I learned long ago is we've all seen sacred geometry, okay?
Right.
And it's very complicated to look at. And look at the star tetrahedron, right? it's beautiful, but it's complicated. And long ago, I don't know who got it wrong, but geometry is, in its simplicity, is very powerful. And you know, when I'm teaching these types of techniques, these techniques, some may have been around a long time, others, you know, I've been exposed to, been granted access to, but, you know, there's a divine stream that we all exist in. I truly believe that humans are all born with a kindred heart, and as we get conditioned over time, you know, we all take different paths. Some might lead to a lower vibration, some lead to a higher vibration. And that divine stream is our birthright, okay? And somewhere along the path, we lost it. And it's always been there. It's always there, and it will always be there. And it goes by many names. It goes by many, many different ways of calling it. But it's always there, and you know, it's chi, it's prana, it's whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It you know, by complicating it, by giving it a very name, really demeanors what it's there for. It's just there.
Yes. Okay,
it's outside your comfort zone, and geometry. You know, when I know some people are like, oh, body geometry. Well, I can't stretch or I can't do it. You don't have to. It's as simple as moving your fingers in a certain way to allow that vortex, that 0 point, that quantum this, whatever you want to call it, it's just there. It just is. It's simple. It just is. And it allows you to breathe that in, take those frequencies, those vibrations, those higher octaves into your body, and then when you are exhaling, you're giving them back to source. Okay, it's the very act of giving and receiving. You know, the chakras in the body are all about giving and receiving. It's always about giving and receiving. It's always a two-way street.
Just profound. And as people are connecting in and plugging in, and we are getting some incredible wisdom here, these energies are here for us to plug into. They're here for us to understand and use. What are some of the things that you're also seeing with some of these different devices in the home? I know a lot of people have written into us and said, you know, it feels like my office feels negative or my home feels negative. How do I clarify the energies, purify the energies? How do I keep my family safe? How do I keep, you know, my kids sleeping at night without waking up and sort of nightmares, things like that? Maybe people feel like there's energies in the home. What are you seeing in sort of the home space with people and some of these sacred geometrical, I would say, devices that are now coming through your great companies?
So I think I know that people with real talent exist in the world, and there's a lot of companies out there that make some really outstanding products, and more so than not, just, you know, products that don't do anything. But they claim to do everything. Now, energy is simplistic, okay? It's either high vibration or it's low vibration or anything in between. And, you know, there's really two pieces to the puzzle, okay? The land on which your home and office is built, and then your home and office, okay? We'll talk about the land in a second. So your home and office have existed for however long time. And there are people that come into your home and office and they leave. There are objects that come into your home and office and leave. And there's energy, whether it's invited or not invited, that comes in your home. Sometimes it stays, sometimes it leaves. And then there's other energies that transverse the realms that are very much like mindless predators, and they attach to your home and office, and they can wreak havoc. And the HFA Plus is a very effective device because it's simple. It's simplicity. there's two metals, copper and silver, and the attributes that go with it. Okay, right on the top of it, you'll see the 0-point energy formula.
Yeah.
If you flip it over, you have an amazing graphic. Okay, it's not by chance that these devices were designed the way they are. Okay, they were designed to certain sizes, certain weights, certain specifications. And when all of these factors are built in and then you activate it, nothing of a lower vibration can exist within the space. Okay?
Wow.
So
Wow.
that takes care of
Wow.
the home and office, and then there's another product that clears land in the same way, but very radically different. And, you know, so people that have or perceive negative energy in their home or their office, someone, maybe they get sick all the time, maybe this, maybe that. The HFA Plus is an amazing way to clear all of it. Now, I just want to backpedal here for a second. You know, I'm a product of the Apple generation, right? And one thing that I really get excited about is when you order something, the packaging that it comes in. Now, I'm not going to tell you what products, but I have received products north of $1,000 by people that actually do have talent, and they just wanted me to give me their products. And I was very excited to receive these products, and when I got them, they were stuffed into a USPS mail bag, wrapped in pink toilet paper with crumpled up instructions. And it's just like, so, you know, being a product of that Apple generation, when, I don't know if you own an iPhone or even a Samsung phone or even a higher-end smartphones, when you open it, it's brilliant. It's just packaged a certain way. So learning from experiences that when I would like to receive something, I took that knowledge, and the HFA New Way to Travel comes in a beautifully packaged cardboard box. The HFA Plus and the HFA Mini come packed in beautiful wooden boxes, and then they are put into a beautiful cardboard box, and the emblem is laser engraved on top of the wooden boxes, and then the other boxes obviously have colored print on them. And they're extraordinarily, all of them are extraordinarily beautiful when you receive them. And that's all part of the magic in receiving something. Okay, it's all about that receiving and giving. You know, half of your excitement of a product gets zapped right out of you when it just comes, you know, wrapped in a, we've all gotten them, we all know it. So, you know, believe it or not, packaging is not expensive, but it takes a little work to get it right. And a lot of people want to save money when they develop a product, and it suffers on the packaging, unfortunately. So anyways, I take a lot of pride in these products. I took a long time to develop them, and, you know, they're going to do exactly what I say they're going to do for you.
Wow. Well, we're going to be talking about these a little more. I want to share what one person said with the exercise we did. A few people writing with the energy. Amazing. This cleared my headache and my neck ache. Thank you. And very powerful stuff from the free processes. And the HFAs, Peter, I want to ask you another question. I'm holding one of them. I know you were so gracious to send me this harmonic field amplifier. This is the middle size version, and a few people are asking like what they look like, and we should have put it on the page, but we kind of wanted to make this a general call about the water blessing, the geometric body print, body activations that we did, and also bring up this technology. But if you know people are wondering about it and really curious about it, these are breaking developments, and it's so exciting. You said negative energy cannot exist around this. This actually works. There's some that work on your body. There's some that work in your home. Some that can work in your car. You can choose to use them. Some that work in a bigger space. And I want to share, for people that are wondering what it looks like, what in the world is it, you're going to see it. It's really, really cool. It's at uwealthrevolution.com/Peter, Peter 13. That's uwealthrevolution.com/Peter. and 13. And what I'm excited about is normally when there's breaking technologies, you'll see things like there'll be a Kickstarter campaign to say, in a year, this guy needs this much money and hopefully it'll get developed and then you can possibly buy one of the prototypes and it might do what it says. This actually is here now, and you've actually developed it, you've tested it, you've got people that have been using it and stories and videos. So here's the deal. There's no wait. This is so cool because we can start using it right now. And I want to share, go to that page. You're going to see pictures of these devices. And I'm going to be talking about the middle-sized one because I've got a question for you, Peter, on this. And if you go to that page, ulsrevolution.com/Peter13, it says, imagine traveling through life feeling calmer and safer. How would your life change? Create a quantum shield of protection around your aura. Now, the middle device, which is the one with the black box, it's a beautiful box, by the way, but as you look at the device, in the very middle, there's sort of like these concentric circles that get, smaller and smaller, so it indents in. And then on the back side, there's the same concentric circles that I guess, depending on how you look at them, actually get bigger and bigger and go out. But there's a hole right in the center, and I just noticed that. What is this hole doing?
So that is a spiral. Okay, yeah. It's a vortex generator. It's a 0 point. Okay. Those exist on the HFA New Way to Travel and on the big one for the home and office. And the silver creates and stabilizes that vortex, and instantly any energy, depending on the device you're using, is brought right down into the center of that device at the speed of thought, goes through the 0 point and is instantly transmuted to harmonized energy and put back whence it came as harmonizing energy. So let's say you're getting out of work and you're pissed off, okay? You get in your car and instantly it just drains from you. Instantly. There's no wait time. That's what I really want people to understand. Once these devices are activated, there's zero wait time. 0 point, zero wait time, get it?
Okay.
But it just happens. And it's perpetual. These devices will never stop working. They're not going to fall apart. They're not going to break. They're not going to, the power grid goes down. It uses that universal energy. It uses the stream. Okay? It only requires a mental link from you to the vehicle, from you to your home and office, and from you to you.
All right. I'm going to stretch you a little bit because this is super interesting and cool. But of course, I know you're definitely a very wise guy, so I may not be able to stretch you too much. But here's the question: have you experimented with these things and actually placed an intention on one of the HFA devices? And I'm talking not about the one you wear. And we're going to talk about the details of each of them. But I have one that's actually the middle-sized version. Have you ever, or has anyone placed, let's say, an intention on a piece of paper or some sort of writing on the actual device in the attempt to amplify the intention field around them or amplify that energy or even emotion through these devices?
So the short answer is I have not. And that's a brilliant way of thinking outside the box, by the way. But what you will find is, if you come across some of the YouTube videos, is a woman has the HFA New Way to Travel on her dashboard, and it's a video, so you can watch it, and she places a bottle of water on top of it to pass the intentions through it as she's driving down the highway. It's amazing.
Wow, interesting. So I know how you ask people to absolutely experiment with this, and I want to talk more about it. The reason I bring that up is if you're familiar with sacred sites around the world and even how some of the world is organized, there's so many stories, and some of them absolutely verified, that there are certain sites around the world where the builders of the so-called planet as we see it, the Matrix, have used sacred sites and sacred geometry to create energy vortices in places like Washington, D.C., London, and other places to actually control the greater Earth grid. So my thought was, can we actually utilize these to create like a light grid that in many respects can create a light grid around us that is not influenced by the collective matrix of the 3D grid. And, we might call it the dark grid or however we want to perceive it. But some interesting possibilities here. And Peter, anything you want to share on that? I think you you probably already have that figured out in some way, or maybe that's part of your plan.
So the answer is really simple, Darius. Mm-hmm. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why not? Mm-hmm. I always encourage people, whenever they use my products or services, to approach them with a childlike energy, a childlike mentality. Because remember, the child sees the world as magical. And when you're in that childlike energy, that childlike space, that is the energy of the universe, okay? That's it. And when you're in that space, anything is possible. You are an unlimited being. Once you have the potential to unlimit your thinking, and just by listening to me talk, by listening to the show, by the interaction between me and you, people are becoming unlimited. When you unlimit your thinking, you can unlimit your potential. And in that potential is where the magic is. So to ask me, is it possible to use something like this to, dumb down the earth grid that's being used for the lower vibe stuff? My rhetorical response is always going to be why not?
Exactly. Why not? Yes, I love it. Absolutely. Well, I want to go deeper into some of these different pieces and talk about it, Peter. This is your amazing creation. It's not a Kickstarter campaign. It's not something that we're hoping comes to the planet in 8 years or 10 years. It's here now, and it's been tested by some very powerful people all over the world, and they're experiencing benefits of using a harmonic field amplifier in their daily life, in their car, even around their body. And some people even calling the harmonic field amplifiers by names and getting messages back. One person said, I feel a sense of peace that all's going to come together, and I felt it was infinity. That's what I named my HFA, was telling me that everything was going to be all right. Now, what's going on with that? People actually have started naming these, or
that's
really
like
having communication?
That's a brilliant thing, and I don't know how I missed this. Okay, so so know this first. You don't pick the device. The device picks you, okay? And what do I mean by that? There is a creative consciousness personality that's unique in each one of these devices, okay? So, for instance, there was a woman that ordered the HFA Plus, and she activated in her home and office, and she's in her 70s, and she started having these amazing, crazy nightmares. And she was given up for adoption very early on in her life, and she was adopted into a well-to-do family, and she was sexually abused and raped and used as a sex slave. And it took her 40 years of her life to get her sanity back. Now, the HFA Plus comes in, and all of a sudden she's having these horrific nightmares. All of this stuff that she has, and here's the Achilles heel, all of these things that she has blocked, okay, they start bubbling back up. Now, if you look at the HFA Plus and exactly what it does, it's operating as advertised, okay? It cleans negativity, okay? So what it was doing with this woman was it was cleaning these things that she has repressed in her life and pulling them to the surface and getting rid of them. And she called me in a panic, kind of freaked me out actually. And I'm like, okay, let's slow down a little bit, okay? The HFA line are conscious creations, okay? Have you asked it to dial down the power? No. How do I do that? What do I do? I said, okay, you just connect with it. You put your attention on it and say, give it a name. Can you please cut down the power output? Instantly it did it, and she's been sleeping through the night like a baby.
Wow.
It cleans negativity. Look, Darius, this is the real deal, Okay, I have a long history and a long track record of delivering devices, out-of-the-box thinking devices and software that, the stuff that science fiction books are written about. These devices are real. Okay, when we say those 8 magical words, the first thing I told you was energy that's in physical form and non-physical form. Okay, the HFA is in physical form, and the energy is in non-physical form. Now, people that have been using the HFA Minis have been, writing to me and leaving video testimonials and testimonials saying they're their best friends. They talk to them all day long. Why? Because the response they get back is from that childlike energy outside the box. That's where the magic happens. That's where it's at.
Yeah, interesting. We're talking about an energetic safe zone. Is it possible to actually create an energetic safe zone around you and be in your own physical safe space energetically? And this is what Peter Schenk is telling us absolutely is here, a technology that lets us do that. And there's a bunch of stories on this. To ualtrevolution.com/Peter, Peter 13. Now let's talk about some of the different things that people can look into and really feel into, because I would ask people feel into it. The first is the harmonic field amplifier mini. Now, when people think about this is something that you wear around your neck. There's a picture of it. It's in a beautiful, looks like I did not get one of these. I kind of want one now. One of the wood boxes with the beautiful burgundy velvet around it. But this actually, you say it maintains the integrity of the energy field around you. It is aura protective. So people wear it around their neck. Now, what happens if you're just a really negative, like you've got a lot of negative stuff that you're dealing with? Does it doesn't hold that in place, right? It actually in some way clears that
That's
out.
That's a great
and
question.
Release that.
Because predominantly my customer base are women, and no less than 2 occasions they have actually ordered another one for their hubbies because their hubbies are so negative, and they've been wearing these HFA Minis around their neck, or you can put it in your pocket or your purse as long as it's on you and it's activated. And their whole attitude and demeanor has shifted into a more positive, productive, even in some cases in a relationship manner.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
So basically, whatever is there that you're dealing with, it is going to help you to purify, release, and recirculate. If you live with somebody who's really negative, is that thing going to get tarnished like really quickly, or what do you do? I mean, you just say, okay, I'm going to get one for them and make them wear it, or put it like by their bedpost at night, and then does consent have anything to do with this too, with regards to third parties?
No, consent has zero to do with this.
Okay.
This is science. This is all based in science, from numerical values to material to designs to, a belief system that everything is energy, right? So people that do wear these, they find that people that are generally negative to them in life become more compassionate just by being around them. Remember, it affects you in the immediate surroundings. So people that come into the field shift instantly. There's no wait time. It's instant. And once you've activated one of these, you've activated it, because things change at the speed of thought.
Okay,
so,
we're gonna talk about how to activate these in a minute, because it's a very interesting process. Option 1 is available now. So again, it's not a Kickstarter. This is super cool. This technology is available for people now. And option 1, I believe, is the HFA Mini that you wear around your neck. This is a physical item. It is a beautiful, basically, necklace pendant. Is that how you would describe it, Peter?
It's a pendant, yeah, but you can wear it around your neck, or you can put it in your pocket or your purse. Now, what's important is when you do wear this, you only want to wear it on a copper or a silver chain. Okay, that'll actually magnify the field. You don't want to wear it on a piece of leather, on any other chain. Now, the purity of the metal doesn't really matter, but as long as it's silver or copper, and you wear it around your neck.
Wow. Wow. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. We are going to be talking about this again, because one of the big things that I'm excited about too is free shipping here inside the USA, including Hawaii and Alaska. And it says the HFA Mini surrounds you with a consistently cleansed field of energy so that your best intentions can shine. You might notice a lift in mood or that goal setting and meditation is more effective. It's an energetic law of the universe that like attracts like. So when your energy field is clear and healthier, you will attract people in energy fields, healthier ones, into your life. So it's $197. This is deeply discounted if you can imagine what it takes to create and make these. The next piece is the harmonic field amplifier. This is the one I have on my desk, and it's been very interesting. I've kind of, like, at first I was like, well, I didn't feel anything, and I was like, well, what's going on with this thing? I didn't really know what to do with it, but I took a step back and I looked at the paperwork, and then I realized there's a step to activate this. And when I activated it, I've started to feel a lot of interesting things. It took me a few days to kind of bring it together because I started feeling like better. I activated it yesterday. I started feeling better. I started doing all these like videos on Facebook. I started like coming up with all these new ideas. I just started feeling like I was getting a little bit of a boost in just my normal, happy-filled state. It wasn't making me into something that I'm not. It just seemed to help me, support me. Tell me about activating it, because I didn't realize this, and I don't want people to wait. I want people to know how to activate this as soon as they get it. So how do we activate this thing, Peter, these things?
Sure. So we'll start with the HFA, a new way to travel. And each activation is similar, but they're all simple, but they're different. And, just remember, okay, so you get the HFA, a new way to travel. You just sit in your car, you hold it in your left hand, you put your attention on your vehicle, and you repeat those 8 magical words: I honor the space in which you exist, and that's it. You've linked it. To unlink it from your car and to move it to another vehicle or another mode of travel, you just hold it in your right hand and repeat those 8 magical words: I honor the space in which you exist, and you've unlinked it, and you can move it. Okay? The HFA Plus for home and office, you generally want to kind of center it somewhere in your home or your office, and you put your attention on the building, the space that you want to occupy. You repeat those words, 8 magical words: I honor the space in which you exist. To unlink it, you do the same thing. Now, the Mini is different. The Mini, you hold it in your hand and you put your left thumb on the back side of it, and you'll know it because your thumb will fit right in there. And you put your attention on yourself and you repeat those words: I honor the space in which you exist. And then to unlink it, you just put it on your right thumb and I honor the space in which you exist, and that's it. It's that simple. Wow. It literally takes 3 seconds to link it and unlink it, and it happens instant. There's no wait time. It's instant.
Wow, interesting. And there are no batteries. There's nothing here that wears out. It works forever. And that the HFA amplifier, harmonic field amplifier, which is a new way to travel, this is one that you can use in your car. This device is actually $397 total value. It's discounted to $357, and remember, this is a physical product. It's got to be created, it's got to be manufactured, it's got to be put together. It is $357, and it is discounted, as I said, 10% off because it is physical. But there's even a 2-payment plan for all of these options. So if you want to pay in installments for either 1 or 2, you can. And then the HFA, I guess I call it option 3, but it's the amplifier for the environment. Now, this thing is big. How big is this thing? And it's not like overly big, but it's a big piece of energy magnification and amplification technology. How big is it?
So to be clear, the HFA new way to travel is about 3.5 by 3.5 inches and weighs about a pound.
Yeah.
The HFA Plus is about 6.5 by 6.5 and weighs about 4 pounds. So they are extremely heavy devices. The HFA Mini has a good weight to it as well. But the weight proportions to the physical proportions are exact to create exactly what they do. So the HFA Plus is a much larger device. It is much heavier, but it's a piece of artwork that you would be proud to display, as the crown jewel in your home or your office.
Wow. And so the big one, now what would you recommend? Can people use the middle-sized HFA for their office, like around their desk? I mean, it's
No. So
okay.
so let's be clear about this, okay? I've developed 3 different products for 3 specific purposes.
Okay.
The HFA, A New Way to Travel, which is the middle one, is meant for your car or any mode of transportation. The HFA Plus is meant for your home and your office, and the HFA Mini is meant to be worn on you or carried on you at all times.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. Well, these are available now. As I said, there's no Kickstarter. This has been developed now and created for everyone here who wants to experience this. The option 3, which is the HFA Plus, is $897. It's discounted from $997, and there's a payment plan of 2 installments of $449. And then you also have a really cool get the complete set package that lets you get everything. The HFA Plus, the HFA, which is just the new way to travel, and then the HFA Mini, and that is discounted from $1591 to $1197, and you can even do 2 installments. How would people decide, Peter, which one might make sense for them, or if they want to get started? Where would you start? What would be the way to go?
Well, just know this, okay? These devices, when we debuted these devices, they didn't sell out in months. They didn't sell out in weeks. They sold out in hours, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're looking at these. And, I really kind of covered all of the bases, okay? If you have a horrible drive every day, your home or your office, the energy sucks, and if you're just cranky and everyone around you is cranky all the time, then the triage of all 3 of them will suit your lifestyle. If you don't drive and you're in your home all day and the energy is negative, then the HFA Plus is for you. And if you just want to experience the technology on a simpler level, the HFA Mini is definitely for you because it goes anywhere. Now, I wear mine in the shower. I wear it to the gym. I sleep with it. I never take it off. The only time I take it off is when I clean it, and then right back on it goes. Why? Because there's a bond that happens between you and these devices, and it's one that is ancient, and it helps you remember these relationships between you and your environment. Very, very important.
It definitely invokes something that I can't quite put my finger on, but I was thinking about.
Think about it, right? It's ancient technology, past, put together with state-of-the-art metallurgy, present in a futuristic design. Future.
Yeah.
Past, present, and future.
Very true. And I think we've got a bunch of questions I want to jump in here to get people their questions answered about these devices. So I'm going to get to everybody. But, I think about, in the old days, the, kings and queens and the royals, would find these perfect sites for their homes and the palaces and where they would sort of build their kingdoms. And they had all those choices, to find areas where there were clean energy vortices, and there were good areas that conducted good positive energy in different parts of the world, and we call them like the chakra points of the earth. And they knew this. And we, in our modern world, we live in an apartment or we live in a neighborhood that some builder tracked it out, and we don't really know what happened there, or where it is on the earth grid or in the vortex, or is it on a ley line or some other sort of vibrational channel that may be good or may not. And for many of us, we don't have that opportunity. And then we've got a lot of questions coming in about all the other stuff that we're bombarded with, the wireless and the smart meters and the EMFs and all of that. So we really, at some point, are a little bit at a place where we've got to take back control. So, I mean, I think this is so cool. What happens? We've got a question from Barbara about sort of like the EMF and all of that sort of energy. What are you seeing with this, or what do you anticipate this doing in light of that?
So, EMF frequencies, Wi-Fi frequencies, wherever you go, whatever you do, wherever you are, unless you have no technology on you and you're on a mountaintop, you're still getting bombarded with cosmic frequencies, okay? They've been with us forever. They're going to remain with us forever. Lately, over the last 100 years, it's been amplified 100-fold, 1,000-fold, whatever you want. And does it have negative consequences on the body? Yeah, sure, absolutely. We talk about that conditioning. How many people just turn on their TV arbitrarily in the morning while they're making breakfast and the news is playing in the background? Blah, 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 blah. Right?
Wow.
You're being bombarded. Those have negative effects on the body. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make a statement that, yes, this product will protect you 100% from EMF, okay? Because I don't make statements like that because they don't make sense. What I will tell you is that in your reality, if you perceive EMF as harmful, you can classify it as low vibration, okay? The devices vibrate ultra high, and the HFA Mini vibrates ultra high. And when you are in that protective energetic bubble, nothing in the lower spectrums can harm you. And with that, armed with that knowledge, make an informed decision.
We are going to take some questions here from the audience, so I'm going to jump in real quick and grab some of these. So we've got a question coming in. Let's see what we got here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we've got, oops, I'm so sorry. 1 second here. Hold on, actually my computer just reset here. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to jump back in and go back to, hold on 1 second here. Sorry about that, Peter. We had a bunch of questions and then everything went wonky here, so let me jump back in here.
The universe doesn't want me to answer anymore.
I'm telling you, it's very interesting. Go to uwealthrevolution.com/Peter, Peter, to find out more about this. It is right now available, and we have them with free shipping and even payment plans. Okay, so the first question came in. Can you use an HFA Mini for your car instead of yourself?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Does it affect the food in your space? Does it set off airport security? That's a great question from Barbara in Colorado.
So I will share this with you, okay? Where you decide to take it is strictly up to you. But there was a woman that did bring it through the HFA New Way to Travel through airport security, and they asked her what it was, and she said, oh, it takes energy from the sun, and it helps heal my cancer.
Oh, wow.
And they did swab it for explosives and all that.
Sure. These
devices are unlike anything you have ever seen, touched, or felt before, okay? And they exuberate an extreme amount of energy. So it's just, just bear that in mind.
Yeah. So it does not cure cancer, but what she was saying, she was just kind of saying that so that they were like, oh, okay, it's a medical thing, and I'll just sort of let it go by. But I want to be clear, like, that's not what we're saying, but she just kind of made up a story. Okay. Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, yeah, because they may not know what it is, you have to sort of, so yeah, maybe, you travel with it or you make the decision. But certainly I think that would be, I think it would be very safe to say, because they could just run it through a metal detector. It wouldn't wear it out or whatever, and they wouldn't see anything. It's just a very powerful conjoined set of metals. Okay, we've got another set of questions coming in here. Can you share the device? So once you turn it on, could you take the pendant and let someone else wear it? Would it still have the effect, or does it need to be just for that one person?
The short answer is yes, absolutely. You can share any of the products.
Okay.
The more difficult question is going to be, once you have formed a friendship with these products, do you want to give it to somebody? And the answer to that is probably going to be no. The most important thing, folks, in all of this is, if you do decide to move them or give them to other people or whatever you do, you have to unlink them. That's the most important part. Linking them and unlinking them is the most important part.
When you say link, so you mean if you're using all three, you were talking about linking all three, or when you link?
No, so if you're using any of them and you decide to give one of them to someone else to use, you have to unlink them from your car, your home, your office, or your personal space. Or
your personal space. I got it, yeah. Okay, one person from Barbara, kind of similar vein, interesting, this is great. If you're wearing the pendant and you're with your family, does the family or people you're with benefit from the effects?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, they affect your immediate surroundings.
One person who has an HFA Mini, she says, I travel weekly with my HFA Mini, I guess around her neck or somewhere in her body. It never has set off security alarms. So very, very, very interesting stuff. Keep sending in the questions. All of this is available now. There's story after story, interesting videos of people sharing their experiences. What's your favorite story? I mean, this is really cool, because we started this call and I kept thinking, man, this would be a great technology to have, and I realized that we had this in play, but my mind kept going back saying, wow, if we actually had stuff that could do this, and I knew it was here. I have one on my desk and that I've been using in my car, but it is here. It's not a dream. We can actually use this, and people are experiencing stuff. What are you saying, Peter? What is the thing that maybe is your favorite story or your favorite experience that someone's had?
Well, it's really a fundamental understanding, right? So, we've done a couple shows with you over the last couple of years, and they've been software based. And I always kind of go back to how Source delivers an experience that's always better than what your human mind can conjure up. And I'm going to tell you a story about a different product, and then I'll swing it around into this one. So there's another product we have out there. It's about manifesting, and this woman used the product, and she wanted to manifest the 4-leaf clover. Okay, now based on science, that a 4-leaf clover in nature is 1 to the nth degree, whatever that is, probably in the millions. So she did a video, and she was out jogging. She decided to lay down in this field, and she rolled over, and there was a 4-leaf clover. But remember what I said, the universe always delivers the experience, whether it's an HFA product or something else, in a way that's more mind-blowing. And in the video, it wasn't a 4-leaf clover, it was a 5-leaf clover when she showed it. So, a 5-leaf clover in nature is just almost next to impossible. So as the stories roll in, about the HFA, there's a couple that the experiences were really brought to a whole new level. Like, there was one woman that she was driving. The road trip between her home and her daughter's college takes 3 hours like clockwork. And, there have been people that say that time speeds up but slows down at the same time. And it's remember, only in the experience do you really find the knowledge, right? And she lives out in one of the Midwestern states, and the tornado warnings start going off, okay? And it starts raining so hard that she can't even see in front of her. And she almost had to pull off. Actually, she did pull off the road. But she made it to her daughter's college in 3 hours and 15 minutes with tornadoes ripping around her. I mean, how crazy is that? The the HFA, A New Way to Travel, I mean, there's just amazing stories about the effects that it has on people and more so other drivers, right? The HFA Plus for home and office is just, you know, it's a continuation. It's always about people's experiences, their environments, and how they think outside the box. And every story is beautiful. But to put my finger on one of them, say this is my favorite, in my mind, really kind of does a disjustice to all of them, because they're all unique, they're all brilliant, and they're all beautiful on how. Now, you have to remember, okay, people are taking and sending me video testimonials, okay? These are people that don't even know how to use a cell phone, but they figure it out. Why? Because they are so blown away that they have to get their story out. And they choose to do it in a video format because that relays the emotional aspect behind it, what you really kind of lose sometimes in writing.
Oh, just profound. Well, I'm going to check real quick, see what other questions we have. The technology is here. Love you both. Thank you, Liliko. We love you too. The technology is here, and there's so many astounding developments, and I really think this is such a powerful time because we are changing the world, and as these technologies come forward, can you imagine hundreds or thousands of these all over the planet, raising the vibration, clearing out the negative calibration or matrices around us all, and shifting the planet in a big way. And I honestly believe if we continue to share, support, and bring forth these ideas, this is going to be the planet that we live on. And I just love it, Peter. I thank you for being here and pouring your heart and soul and your wisdom and genius into these devices and everything you're doing, because you're always on the cutting edge, and it's exciting to talk to you. It's exciting to feel the things coming in from your higher self and your gifts into the world. And it's exciting to read these stories and see the videos. And I'll share for people that want to watch some of the videos or see more of these different devices and how truly affordable they are, because they never wear out. You have them for life, and they continue to work as long as you own them. And they're beautiful. Yes, they really are beautiful. They're at uwealthrevolution.com/Peter, Peter 13. The future is now. You can actually harmonize your life with an HFA and experience it right now. Harmonic frequency amplifier. I love it. Peter, any final thoughts or anything else you want to share with people today?
You know, look, if you are a long-time customer of mine, you know exactly what these products deliver. They're no different than anything else I create. And, you know, these products have life cycles in the manufacturing, and we have, you know, what we have available today, and when they're gone, they're gone. And when they're going to come back in stock, I really don't know. But they're here. Like Darius said, there's no Kickstarter program. We're not raising money. These have been in the environment for 9 or 10 months now, okay? And they have an amazing, proven track record. And here's the cool thing, folks. The more they get out into the environment, the stronger the whole becomes, meaning the level that your HFA operates, if you choose to purchase one today, will only get stronger over time.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Wow. Well, thank you, Peter. Incredible and such a blessing today. And I send love to everyone else. I mean, believe there is a new future. There is a big new set of possibility, and there is a big new set of new ways to be. And I want to jump in real quick as I was reading that. We've got a question from YRM who is asking, how big is the area is the environment piece affecting? So I think the HFA Plus, how big of an area does that actually work on clearing and affecting the energy field?
It doesn't matter the size of your home and office. The field will cover all of it. To give it a limitation in terms of meter or yards is doing a disservice to the unlimited potential of the technology. So rest assured it'll cover the area that you need it to.
Wow. Thank you so much, Peter. And Diana says much blessing and much love to both you, Darius, and Peter. And thank you, Diana, and everybody else. Peter, thank you, my friend. This is really incredible, and I'm very excited to share this and let it get out in the world. Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Darius.
Yeah, thank you. Wow. Well, that is Mr. Peter Schenk, and an inventor, the modern mystic, and something really profound has been created here, and I'm playing with it, experiencing it. There's many stories, as I said. These have been out in the world doing some incredible things, and I'll also share between now and Sunday at midnight, Peter's also including a chakra clearing and tune-up 3 workshop that you can plug into. And I'm going to put Peter back on the line here. Peter, I know we almost were letting you go, but we didn't talk about this. And as I was looking, I thought, wow, we've got to get into this. This is a bonus for anybody that gets these between now and Sunday at midnight. Number one, you'll get the effect of actually locking one down. You say there could be inventory shortages as you do runs of these, and I know it's very expensive, so you've got to pour a bunch of money into this, get a bunch of them back, and then when those are done, you sort of start the process again. We have them now, but people that go faster into this are going to get a benefit of this chakra clearing tune-up workshop. Tell me about it.
So this is, to be clear, this is the chakra 3rd generation clearing workshop I've done. So years ago, I used to charge people about $1,000 to take them through a 7-day process of cleaning their chakras one at a time. And I have refined that skill and that energy level to, I believe it's by an hour and 15 to an hour and a half chakra. So what happens is we use some sacred geometry, we use water, and I clean each chakra out. Okay, we take the good and the bad out. We pull everything out, and then we seal it. And we do that. And as we move down through each chakra, you begin to feel less and less human because your chakras aren't breathing. And once we have cleaned the last one, we then fill them all up simultaneously with source energy. It's really it's a mind-blowing experience for people, because some people say, yeah, I clean my chakras all the time. Other people are like, yeah, I've done it once or twice. You've never experienced the level that we take you to in the Chakra 3 workshop. It's really, it's beautiful and powerful.
Well, that is available, too, as a gift. So you're going to get all of that. Feel into it. Whatever feels right to you. We've got tons of stories from people all over the page and videos. Peter, once again, thank you, my friend. Incredible session. This time I promise I'll let you go. Get back to shifting the planet in big, big, big ways, my friend. Thank you so much.
Great.
Now, that is our guest, Peter Schenk, and if you want to go deeper, we've got some cool specials, and, it's my joy to help promote these beautiful ideas. We did a body geometry session. We actually learned, oh my gosh, within like the first couple minutes, within 10 minutes, how to actually bless our water, which I think is profound. We can use that forever. And we got to share this message of this new technology. And for people that want to go deeper into it, it's available. Also do this. If it's not for you, or you decide, you're going to wait on it or anything else, just share the call. Let's get this message out to the world. We can change the structures. What if every school had a device like this in it? What if every school utilized some of these principles we talked about here today? What if every public building, what if every city, had some of these sacred geometrical markings or calibrations, in the pavement or in the concrete or in the building structures or in the apartment buildings or in some of the tenement houses or big complexes where people live? What if all of this became part of the new world we want to live in? And it can do that if enough people know and enough people say, you know what, we want to live in the highest energy possible, and we know that our energy field is infinite, but we also want to live in an environment that supports the infinite energy field. What if all of that became the standard way we operate as humans on this planet, and we demanded it, right? We expected it. We let enough people know, and they said enough is enough. Share this message, share the interview, share this truth. We can choose the planet we want to live in, and it is our time to rise And all of you, you already are victorious. You already are that gift, that blessing that you know you are. You are the one we've all been waiting for. So thank you for being in my life, and thank you for plugging in. And if you want your own harmonic field amplifier, again, it's not a Kickstarter. It's available now. We're getting a lot of beeps, things sort of exploding here with excitement, and that is so cool. You can go to uwalsrevolution.com/Peter, Peter 13. Much love and light, everyone. Love you, honor you, and thanks always for being in my life. I love you.